just not following me very quickly. Okay, we'll jump out and go and check what the slurry tank's doing somewhere. Ah, he's over here, stuck in the corner. The other alleged thing that is happening in Farm Sim 22 is we're going to get smarter workers. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Around the headland at the edge here. Now we're nearly empty on the tank again. Not sure how much more we've got in the truck. I think I can go up here. Now the nice thing is there was a change in how the precision farming mod work, or the precision farming mod works, in that it also now works with digestate and with slurry tanks and manure spreaders. When it was first implemented, you could only put sprayers and spreaders on automatic application. And so what would happen is you would just use up all of your slurry or digestate or manure, and if you drove over an area it would apply more. Now I think we have an automatic setting so that it won't apply where it already has done, which is a good thing, because it means we're not going to waste it, or we're not going to over apply where it needs to be. I don't know why my nitrogen's not saying it's a thing. Let's connect that and connect that, yes, and turn that on. Although that said, it does look like I've over applied at the bottom. Not that it's a big issue, but where we've driven round here, it looks like there's a little bit over application here. But we'll see how it works out. We still have to do that little band there, and oh, hang on, no. Oh, yeah. I think this line here is actually the farm track that comes over here. And our tank is empty. Well, darn. Okay. I will do. Now we have a lot of conflicting jobs to do. Okay, up here somewhere. See where we were. We're about a good width of a tractor and a little bit more over. So that's where we got up to. Let's turn the helper back on. Okay, that's still running. Again with the problems. Drop that off the back. Pick that up. on. Yeah, there seems to be a problem with the vehicle enhanced driving mod in that sometimes a vehicle will just get stuck, and the only way to unstick it is to detach the piece of equipment, reattach it and turn it back on again. Now I've just done that previously with the front mower and now with the back mower, and that's all working, yeah, doing what it's doing. So I don't know what the deal is, but I do know how to remedy it so it's not too much of an issue for us. That's about in the corner. Oh, now let's get out of here. Now we are going to end up with bits of Clover windrow on the field, and we'll just have to live with that as it is. The other thing I do want to do on this field is probably chop those trees down and plant that patch of grass around the trees with more clover. Because that patch there, it's just a big problem for workers. They don't like that. Okay, there's just a spreader still going. That's good. Helper G is blocked by an object. Oh, truck's in the way again, I guess. No. Yeah, you're blocked by an object. That's a problem. Engine on backup. Oh, now the problem here is we have a bale in our baler, and the what is it? There's a script on all the hedges on this map which prevent bales from passing through them, and harvester headers for that as well. So if this thing needs to turn around and it decides the best way to do that is to go through a hedge, that's kind of a problem, because balers in the back will cause the baler to block on the hedge, and the tractor will just get, or the worker will just get confused and say, I don't understand what's going on. So I'm fairly certain, I mean, we're day 3 early fall before we could get to this job. There is no way we're going to get another cut in before the end of fall, because clover doesn't grow fast enough. So I don't have to worry too much about getting the other clover field done early. The only worry is I want more digestate. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to go check this guy out. So again, he's practically empty. So we'll take the time out, drive the truck over. I did notice this thing has a couple of trays on the side over the wheel arches, which on this truck we can use to store pipes, and it might be that that's also an option to carry more pipes if I want to. Anyway, we need to refill this. Definitely going to get this field done, completely. As I said, we might be able to get the other one. I think it might be field 1, the smaller of the 2 fields that we had sunflowers in. And even if I don't get all of that done, if we drop the silage bales that are currently at the BGA into the BGA tonight, and as I said, we have about 7 hours before they're ready, so mid-afternoon we'll take the JCB up and get that job done. That will create more digestate for use tomorrow, so we can keep doing the thing. Because we need to drive from here, it's going to be easier. Yeah, I mean, fall for me, the way I play this, is a good time to prepare your fields, or at least do a good amount of field preparation. And actually, the field we're currently in also needs to be ploughed. I didn't do that yet, and my thought was I would. It's easy to see where slurry gets spread on a cultivated field. I don't think it is on a. It's definitely not on a harvested field, and I don't think it is on a ploughed field either. So typically, what I'll do is I'll cultivate the field and then I'll spread the slurry, and then I'll plant the field, as opposed to spread the slurry and then cultivate it in, because it's very difficult to see what you're doing. But okay, 38,000. We have 8,000 left once this is full. I think this is another one of those trailers with a steering rear axle, so it's both easy and difficult to turn. To get a good turn is fairly easy, but if it starts overturning, it's almost impossible to recover. Definitely feeling the weight. I believe this truck is the highest horsepower piece of equipment I have. The 2 big tractors are a close second at about 400. Well, you've messed up. Excuse me, coming through. I'm also not sure if traffic's going to get more intelligent in Farm Sim 22 either, but that would be a good thing. I think someone said it's going to be faster, but I don't know what that means. I mean, there are some people who do fast, and fast is just 24 miles an hour rather than 16. And other people do fast, like I think the Lawfolds map, the traffic does about 30 miles an hour, which is a challenge for your top end tractors as well, with a 30 mile an hour gearbox, 31 mile an hour gearbox. Anyway, we should be right about here. Definitely struggling on these hills. With a full tank. And I don't know. I haven't got a realistic weight mod, which I did try out early on, but it made you know, some jobs were almost impossible because it was very difficult to get anything moving. But there certainly seems to be something here. Back in Farm Sim 17, I used realistic fuel use mod, which also affected the weight of equipment, which is a good thing. It was interesting. I kind of liked it because it did make hills and what have you more interesting. You couldn't take, oh look, I've got 125 horsepower requirement on my cultivator. Well, I've got 115 horsepower tractor. That's close enough. No, if you had any hills on your fields and you were using the realistic fuel usage mod, the tractor would not move it. And I think to a certain extent, did I actually? Yeah, I did grab that. Okay. I think to a certain extent, that. I think we need to be a bit closer. That was incorporated partially into Farm Sim 22 in the base, or 19 into the base game. That's a bit closer. Might not be close enough still. But, I'll have a go. Sure, real farmers would be very upset with me driving over this hose. Come on. There we go. Now, I think what I'm noticing is when I finally connected that hose, I've got to make the mouse cursor turn into a hand in order to operate the lever. Okay, how is this field looking now? We've got this bit up here. It's gonna have a problem going along here because of the steepness of that angle. Missed a bit there. There's probably a tree there which stopped it going around and coming back again. If we come back, we can do that bit manually. I can do that bit manually, and then it should do the rest because this is kind of square-ish. This field already has... Nah, this field is covered in oilseed radish. So we'll get our nitrogen boost when we cultivate that later. Okay, full. We'll turn the pump off. Don't drive away yet. Close the handle, drop the pipe, jump in. And really the way Farm Sim physics works and the pipes work in general, there's no way to stop yourself from driving over them anyway. Okay, so somewhere along here, like round about there, round about that general direction, but yeah, I have noticed that the digestate will, if you watch the rate it's being applied, if it goes over a patch that it's already done, or it's partially overlapping a patch it's already done, it'll slow down. Sometimes it'll just put more on the field. Because with digestate, manure, products, there is no limiting factor. You're just doing a straight dump of product on the field. With liquid fertilizer and solid fertilizer, what you're actually doing is applying a restricted amount, and it's based on the crop that's in the ground. So if there is no crop in the ground, it doesn't know what to do. Oops, turn that off and turn the baler on. There we go. And now do it follow me. And turn that on. It's on. Rear mower's on. So let me concentrate on what I'm doing. Turn that on. We should be good to go, and we're going. So if you're putting on the purchased, should we call it, fertilizers, then what ends up happening is they're applied per the crop you already have in the ground. So if you've over fertilized the crop, nothing will happen. They won't add anything. If the crop is under-fertilized, they will add sufficient to get the crop to ideal fertilization levels. And so, adding fertilizer before the crop has been planted is not a good idea. Obviously, adding manure products, that's when you do it. Okay, let's swing about here, and we're going to need to wait for the baler to come past us. We have just enough room here. Good. So digestate not being spread. Okay, I'm guessing he's done part of that triangle and got to the end and run out of space to go again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come off this patch and then cut in that way. Hopefully the baler should get all of what we just did there. I didn't turn in too tightly for it to be unable to follow the row. And again there. Hopefully that works. Now, of course, the magic of this field, the telephone poles are not real. They just look like they're there. I would get the shock of my life if we suddenly bounced off that one. We've certainly got a good number of clover bales here, so not a bad thing. We'll come off there, and I think we'll stop there. Go and see what our digestate spreader is doing. He's stuck again. So turn that on. Drive forward. That should be pretty much lined up by the looks of it. So all I have to do is turn it on, and we'll probably have to manually finish that off eventually. Oh. Our engine turned off again. Mower on, off we go. Where's our baler not moving? Seriously? You're supposed to be on follow me, which means you just keep following the tractor ahead of you. And again. again, our digestate guy has finished off what he's doing. I could possibly do with a 320 horsepower tractor for doing things like the baling, because this job is really just a little bit too much for the case, especially on the hilltops here. Put that off, put it up, turn it on, and off we go. Okay, slurry spreading is done. Maybe what we'll do is, I'm not sure the placement on the bales on this field might be a problem. Also, that patch with the tree on is definitely a problem. I might try and release this on a worker briefly while we tidy up the digestate spreading stuff so far. Okay, we might end up with a grass bale coming out of there, but for right now, and since we're just doing silage bales, I don't know that it's too bad of a deal making a grass bale. Okay, yes, you are not quite finished, so let's get this field done, or at least this end of the field done. Now that the sun's risen, it's definitely easier to see where we've been and where we haven't been. Although I've got to the point where now I'm really using the mini-map to figure most of this out. So yeah, you can see the digestate is not spreading at all at this point. As soon as I hit this patch, we will use some. I'll use some here. Turn around. Little patch on the right there, I think. Oh, okay. Turn that off. I think what I'll do is I'll put the worker back on over here. And we'll finish off the bottom on our way back to the truck. Close. Which way do I want to turn the wheel? That way. And then that way. Now, why don't you want to go? Oh, you do. Good. Drop that. Off you go. Okay, somebody's having issues. Oops. That's issues. So, engine on. Drive forward and stop. Mower.